The last 50 seconds of the Banned VHS Tape Explained ****. The last 50 seconds of the tape were the most terrifying thing I had ever seen in my life. The recording shook, like someone was holding the camera with trembling hands. A dark hallway filled the screen. At first, I thought the picture was broken, because something in the shadows kept bending and twisting, like a person who didn't know how to stand straight. Then the camera zoomed in, slowly, too slowly, almost like whoever was recording didn't want to, but something was making them. And then the figure stepped forward. It had no face. No eyes. No mouth. Just smooth, pale skin. But it turned its head, straight toward the camera. And somehow, even without a face, it looked like it was staring right at me. The camera shook harder. A deep rumbling sound filled the video, like something huge was crawling inside the walls. The figure reached out its hand, long, thin fingers with too many joints, stretching toward the lens. Then the tape glitched. The screen turned black for 1 second. When the picture came back, the thing was suddenly right in front of the camera. A loud screech filled the room where I was watching. The tape crackled. Sparks flew out of the old VCR. And the final second, the very last second, showed a human eye opening inside the creature's smooth face. Then everything went black. And right before my TV shut off by itself, I heard someone whisper behind me, "Did you see it too?" I turned around so fast my neck hurt. But nobody was there. And that, right there, is where the last 50 seconds ended. Now let me take you back to how everything started. The beginning. 3 days earlier, I didn't even know the tape existed. It started when my friend Daniel told me about a secret flea market at the old train station. People sold strange things there: old radios, rusted locks, broken dolls, and sometimes items that weren't supposed to be owned by anyone. That's how he described them. We were bored that Saturday, so we went. The place was dark and smelled like burnt wires. Only a few stalls were open. But at the last table, covered with a black cloth, an old woman sat alone. Her eyes looked cloudy, like she could see things we couldn't. On her table sat only one item: a dusty VHS tape with no label. Only one thing was written on it with red marker: "Do not watch." Daniel laughed. "Probably a prank video." But the woman raised her hand. "No," she said quietly. "It's banned. Someone recorded something they should not have seen." I felt a cold shiver crawl down my back. Daniel bought it anyway. He thought it would be fun. I thought it would be stupid. But neither of us knew how dangerous it really was. Suspense builds. That night, we set up an old TV and VCR in Daniel's basement. The lights flickered the moment we plugged it in. At first, nothing showed on the screen except static. Then the tape began showing random shots of empty places. An abandoned playground. A dark forest. A long hallway with peeling wallpaper. The video was quiet, too quiet. It made my chest feel heavy, like something was watching us, even though we saw nothing. But then the hallway scene returned again. This time, the camera moved closer. Something shifted in the shadows. Daniel leaned forward. "Did you see that?" I nodded slowly. The thing moved again. And that's when the tape skipped forward, jumping straight to the part that should not come until hours later. The final 50 seconds began to play by itself. We froze. The thing in the basement ****. The tall shape stood at the bottom of the stairs, barely visible in the dim basement light. For a moment, neither Daniel nor I could breathe. The creature on the TV had no face, but the shadow in the basement looked like it did, like it had a face shaped wrong, too long, too stretched. The TV behind us crackled again. The basement lights flickered fast, on, off, like the whole room was fighting with some kind of dark energy that didn't belong there. The shape didn't move. It just stood there, watching us. Daniel whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Then the shape tilted its head the same way the creature on the tape did. Slow. Careful. Too smooth to be human. That's when Daniel grabbed my arm so hard it almost bruised. Bro, it's copying the thing on the video. The figure took one slow step forward. The wood creaked under its weight. But its movement made no sound. No breathing. No footsteps. Just the sound of the wooden steps crying under it. I whispered, "Daniel, do not move!" But Daniel was shaking. The TV behind us glitched again, the hallway scene flashing. The creature on the screen stretched out its long, thin arm as if it were reaching through the TV. And the shadowy figure in the basement did the same. That's when Daniel broke. He sprinted to the light switch and flicked it up. Click. Nothing. The basement stayed dark. The figure took another step. I stumbled backward, bumping into the old metal shelves. A can fell and rolled on the floor, making a loud clank that echoed through the room. The figure stopped suddenly. Its head twisted, too far, almost like it could turn all the way around. My chest tightened. Then, out of nowhere, thud! Something loud crashed upstairs, right above our heads. A scraping sound followed, like heavy furniture was being slowly dragged across the floor. Daniel whispered, "Someone else is here." But I wasn't sure it was a someone. The shadow figure slowly turned toward the stairs leading up, as if listening to whatever caused the noise. Its long arms dangled to its knees. Its back rose and fell like it was breathing, but backwards. Then the dragging sound stopped. Silence. Deep, painful silence. Suddenly. Bang! 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 Something slammed against the basement door at the top of the stairs. Daniel jumped. "What is that?" Before I could answer, the TV behind us blasted to full volume on its own. The last 50 seconds of the VHS tape began playing again, even though the tape had finished. The faceless creature was back on the screen, its body shaking like it was trying to break free from inside the recording. Bang! The basement door shook again. And then, click! The doorknob slowly turned. But the shadow in the basement didn't look at the door anymore. It was looking at us again. Its body stretched taller, like its spine was extending. Its limbs bent like bones turning to rubber. It took another step toward us. Daniel grabbed the nearest object, a metal pipe from his dad's toolbox. "I'm warning you!" he shouted, though his voice shook. The shadow paused, just for a second. Then, the basement door flew open with a violent crash. We both screamed. But what we saw at the top of the stairs wasn't a monster. It was Daniel's mom. She looked confused, angry, and scared all at the same time. "What on earth are you boys doing down here?" she began. But she stopped. Because she finally saw the tall, twisted figure on the basement floor. Her face went pale. Her eyes opened wide. She reached for the light switch at the top of the stairs. "Daniel! Run!" The figure looked up at her. And for the first time, it moved fast. It lunged toward the stairs in one long, horrible leap. The creature's faceless head split open like four smooth petals peeling back. No eyes. No mouth. Just darkness inside. Daniel's mom screamed and stumbled backward, hitting the wall behind her. The creature climbed the stairs with inhuman speed, its long fingers digging into the wooden steps like claws. "Mom!" Daniel shouted. I grabbed Daniel's arm and pulled him up the stairs, but the creature blocked half the steps with its stretched-out limbs. Its body twisted unnaturally, bending sideways like someone had broken all its bones and forced them to move again. Daniel's mom snapped out of her fear and yelled, "Get into the kitchen! Move!" Daniel and I rushed past her. The creature reached the top of the stairs just as she slammed the basement door shut. Boom! The door shook violently as something slammed into it from the other side. Bam! 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 The whole floor seemed to jump with each hit. Daniel grabbed a chair and pushed it under the doorknob. His hands were trembling so bad he almost dropped it. We held our breath. For a few seconds, everything was silent. Then, CRRAACK. The basement door slowly split down the middle as long, thin fingers pushed through the wood. The creature was forcing its way out. Daniel's mom grabbed us and shoved us down the hallway. Run! Now! We sprinted toward the living room. The TV we watched earlier suddenly turned on by itself again, static roaring loud enough to hurt our ears. The VHS tape ejected from the player and landed on the carpet. But the static didn't stop. Instead, the TV image flashed to the exact moment in the tape where the faceless creature first stepped out of the hallway. Except now, the creature wasn't trapped inside the screen. It was looking out. Its head tilted toward us, copying our movements in real time, as if mocking us. And then, its hand pushed against the inside of the screen. The glass bent outward like rubber. "And no way," Daniel whispered. "That thing's coming out again? But it's already here." Daniel's mom pulled us toward the back door. "Out! Go!" We ran into the backyard, the cold air hitting our faces like ice. The night was too dark. No moon. No stars. Just thick darkness like the sky itself was smothered. Behind us, the house shook. Shrack! Glass shattered. The creature had broken through the basement door. And the TV screen. Two versions of the faceless creature. One that crawled up from the basement. One that stepped out of the TV. Daniel's mom gasped. "It can make copies of itself." Before we could react, the backyard lights flickered on, and the moment they did, both creatures froze in place. Completely still. The light hummed loudly, brighter than usual. Daniel stared at them. They don't like light." But the bulbs buzzed dangerously. They were about to blow. Daniel's mom yelled, "Run to the street! Go!" We sprinted toward the gate. Behind us, the backyard lights popped. Pop! 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 Darkness swallowed everything. The creatures moved again. Fast. One leaped onto the porch roof. The other stretched its limbs across the grass like a giant spider. They were coming for us from two sides. Daniel tripped at the gate, and I pulled him up. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. The streetlights outside flickered, dim, weak, barely alive. If they went out too, we were finished. "Open the gate!" Daniel's mom screamed. I pulled the metal latch. But then I froze. Standing on the other side of the gate was a third creature. Its body was smaller, shorter, human-shaped, like a child-sized version. Daniel shook his head slowly. No, that one wasn't in the tape." The little one stepped forward, tilting its head. Then it opened its tiny hand. Inside its palm was a small, human eye. An eye that blinked at us. The streetlights flickered again. And all three creatures stepped closer. The final extreme ending event, story conclusion. The child-sized creature opened its palm wider. And the eye inside whispered, "You should never have watched the last 50 seconds. Everything around us went dark.